related to those individuals, you then need to get into a notification mode. Each assessment has its role and its proper time. I include this in our discussion today because there's a lot of mixed use and alternative use of some of these phrases and terms. If you keep these three in mind, you'll have a good handle on it. Our focus is going to be on the compliance assessment. And let's talk about the specific regulations here. There's the security evaluation itself. I'm going to use this slide for two purposes. One, to show you the difference in the language of the law between the compliance assessment or security evaluation and the risk analysis. And then number two, to just give you a sense of how the HIPAA security final rule works. I mentioned earlier 22 standards and 53 implementation specs. Those 22 standards fall into 5 categories or areas, if you will. There are administrative standards. There are technical standards. There are physical standards. There are organizational requirements. And then there are very explicit requirements around policies, procedures, documentation. This is an example of a standard. This is the evaluation standard that drives this entire webinar. That's what we're here talking about today. You are required by law, if you are subject to HIPAA security final rule, to perform a periodic technical and non-technical evaluation based on the requirements of the law. I'll shortchange that one. That's where we're going to be focusing today. The second type of assessment from the previous slide, again in HIPAA parlance, is called a risk analysis. And the risk analysis is an example of an implementation spec. A standard, oftentimes, not always,